this one, you're not going to have true security. For example, if somebody who's supposed to have access to something, and they should not have access, and they get access to it, it's a problem. For example, I know some people have talked to me about web server logs that are in a known location for certain web hosts, and that particular location is publicly accessible, and we've had to protect it. And then the opposite is also true. If you have a customer who should have access to something, and they cannot get access to it, then that's also a problem. And of course, you also need access to your PC and to your website. It needs to be available, and it needs to be working properly for you to work your online business. I also want to talk a little bit about risk management, because that's really the core of what we do. We can talk about backups, we can talk about people hacking into your website, putting malicious scripts in your website, but what it comes down to is risk management. And a risk just means a threat that something bad can go wrong with your computer or with your website. First of all, notice that it's not risk avoidance. Risk avoidance would be taking an approach kind of like the Secret Service does with this inauguration coming up this coming weekend. They're trying to eliminate every possible risk. Of course, the budget they have and the resources they have available, they can do a pretty good job of that. We cannot. On the other hand, risk ignorance is where you just ignore risks that are coming up against you. That would be somebody who is running a, let's say, version 1 something of WordPress, or on version 2.7 at the current time. There's just all kinds of security problems with that, which is going to lead to some kind of compromise eventually. And that's risk ignorance, where you just ignore the risk and go along your way. You need a balance in there. And this next statement here, this is something that the approach that the Department of Defense uses. They assume that a determined intruder will get the access they want to a website. That's very important to remember, and I recommend that everybody in this room take the same approach with your websites. A determined intruder is going to get access to your website. Now, it may not be